think I'm on a roll here. I'm on a roll, I'm on a roll, I'm on a roll. So I wanted to share in a different time space and continue how I release myself from alcohol. So I don't need to go into the story, but I was drinking and I drinking quite a lot over the course of 2 years because I was in a situation where I was like, oh, I can't be him, join him. Do you know what I mean? And I did. And it wasn't very clever, wasn't very great, but how I released myself. So this was my pivotal point. I'd moved home, I'd moved to a flat, and I decided on January 2014 that I would stop drinking, and I did. On January the 1st, I had stopped drinking, and actually I stopped drinking. And actually, I didn't even go into renal or anything. But I don't recommend this, by the way. However, I do feel that unbeknown to me, I do think I was slowing it down because I'd already set the intent to slow it down. Even though it was like I was celebrating Christmas at that point, I was slowing it down already. So I think that's why I was okay. So what did I do? So, I mean, I was like something like 4 stone overweight. It was the biggest I'd ever been, even after my children. You know, I was pretty much a chunky monkey. Most people would say fat, and sometimes there's no other way of saying it. I was fat. I was miserable, and I didn't like the way I was feeling and looking, and I'd had enough, and I wanted my life to get back to whatever form it was, in a different form. And I did. And do you know what? I have to say, I didn't know this until my universe showed me not so long back how I did it. And I want to share this because I feel that this is also a part of my path. I had the most inner strength in my heart. And I swear at points there was beings around me. I could sense beings around me helping and assisting me on the way. I never forget, I was in a little flat. It was a tiny flat, but it was nice and clean. And it was the cleanest flat house I'd ever been in, because that was another story. But I had a flat. And I was grateful for being in it. And I decided January 2014 I would stop drinking, and I did. And I literally went down the high street, got tons and tons and tons of vegetables in. And I wasn't a massive meat eater then, but I was mixing like my, chicken with like mango, and making my own mango chicken burgers, little bowl things. And I just was eating lots of vegetables. Now, I don't like pop, but I drank lots of pop within them 2 weeks of releasing myself from alcohol. Now, I'm sharing this because what people don't know is you're not just releasing yourself from the alcohol, you're releasing yourself from the sugar content that there is in the alcohol. So it's a double whammy. Not only is it the addiction of alcohol, it's the addiction of sugar as well. I'd set an intention that when I moved, I was going to release myself from alcohol as well. So there was a change of circumstances. Many people would say I quantum leaped. I guess I did, really, in lots of forms. Before I knew it, I was embracing my new, eating better, not eating rubbish, wanting to lose the weight and stuff like that. Before I knew it, within about a month, I was running on the beach with my doggy, who was a Weimaraner, who needed exercise, and I was running on the beach with him with the sheer strength from within. Now I know, because it was a strength that I felt, and I do feel all through my life, because for all intents and purposes, I've been on my own, even in relationships. Lots of times I've been on my own, and I think that's the case with everyone, really. We think we're with someone, but we're not. We're actually doing this on our own, really. And it's the sheer strength, God self within, and we have a whole army of God selves, archangels within. I mean, it's a whole different story that to explain, but it's a sheer strength from within that God helped me to get through that. And I actually feel quite emotional because I was at a point in my life where I didn't know how to get out of it. I felt like, I really need to get off this. And I did. And again, I felt like there was presences. And the other thing is, there's lots of shame and guilt when you're been an alcoholic, or you're just coming off it, or maybe you are an alcoholic and you don't want to admit you're an alcoholic. A lot of that is admitting that you are, and that you know, and not keep saying that you're an alcoholic either, by the way, because you are what you speak. So say that I'm releasing myself from alcohol, or I've released myself from alcohol is a better way of putting it. And you know what, you will. And set an intention. Set a day, set an intention. That's powerful, by the way. I didn't realise that. And sometimes I forget even now how powerful that was. That I released myself, and it was the sheer strength from within, the inner strength from within. And my God self, the whole army within that had my back. Do you know what I mean? And one of the things that I did, because I was so ashamed, still, even though I was coming off it and doing something about it, was I used to go on these little forums. I think it's before I was really on Facebook, to be honest. And I used to look at all these people, and they were on like whiskey and like bottles of whiskey a day. And I was like, oh my, I'm not even on that. I'm on this crap cider. Do you know what I mean? It's potent and just naff for your body. It's full of like chemicals and crap. And I was just like observing, and every night I would like go on there and just observe, and I was like, I can do it, I can do it, I can do it, I can do it. And then honestly, January 1st, 2014, I released myself from it. And by the time it came to April, I'd started going up and down the high street. My creativity kicked in. And I remember going to a local wool shop where I lived. And this beautiful lady, they had a knit and natter, as they call it, in Blackpool. And this beautiful lady called Patricia, I never forget her, she was so patient, and she taught me how to crochet. That triggered my entire creativity off. I've always been creative, but kind of like alcohol kind of numbs everything, because that's the whole point, numbs everything. And I wanted my life back, and it triggered my creativity. And then that's when my journey really started beginning back as a creative being, a creative artist, and getting my life back on track once more. Of course, we have roller coaster of life. There's some more troughs and lessons and life lessons we have to overcome. But it really, really was digging deep within. When you're digging deep within, you really, you know, for me, you know, you block everyone out. And I had someone around me who was an alcoholic. And every single time there was lots of temptations, and he put a glass in front of me and go, do you want one? I'd be like, no. And it actually made me the opposite, where I was like, no, I don't. Do you know what I mean? And it's a great analogy right now, because I'm releasing myself from something else, and I'm like, bingo moment. Even as I speak, I'm like, right, okay, that's great. So if you're releasing yourself from alcohol, they're my little tips, really, is just to lock yourself within yourself, do and search deep within, maybe journal about it, gratitude about it, and start doing that, getting yourself out, changing your habits as well. And by the way, I slept better as well. The first night I didn't have a drink, I slept, and I didn't think I would. And actually, when you think about it, you drink to forget, you know, anything that's going on in your world. In actual fact, you're only blocking out like pills do, like antidepressants do. They only block it out. They don't stop you from feeling the way, well, they do, but it's only temporary. Once you come off them, it starts again. So then there's a deeper healing of looking at the traumas and why it is that you've been feeling the way you have, that you felt that you needed something to block that out. Does that make sense? So that's just how my journey went and how I released myself from alcohol. And I hope that whoever you are right now and you're releasing yourself from alcohol, being New Year and all that, you know, I'm not really one for doing stuff like that. I've set an intention every single time I've moved. It just so happens that that was like January 2014. And even though I've had like a little drink now and again, I mean, certainly not now. I mean, I don't think I've had any at all this year. Do you know what I mean? Oh no, I did. I think I did. I did actually. I had a tiny little bit, and I was like, right, I'm not having any more now. But other than that, do you know what I mean? I just release it, feel better. I'm bright as a button, and you too can release yourself and have a better life, and it'll bring so much more to you. Your life will be worth living, and you have all, it kind of blocks out all these creative aspects that we have within us as well. It's almost like it unlocks all these beautiful gifts that we have as well.